Often this is the element out of all three that is not thought of. So pay close attention to this one, because without it, you'll be hunting for M's and W's everywhere without any understanding of where you are in the cycle. You can see M's and W's all day, but it needs to be in the gap times and changeovers. Otherwise, you're just not doing it right. For this method, you'll need to know some very key days and times, as particular things will happen in each of these days and times. The days and times I'm about to tell you will be different to anything you will Google online. Know that everything you Google is wrong, and these times I'm about to give you now are and always will be the correct times. As I've mentioned earlier, the market maker trades on CME time. CME starts the week at 5 p.m. New York on Sunday. Why? Because it's the most universal time where all market makers around the world can communicate. Also, by always keeping it 5 p.m. New York, they don't have to worry about daylight savings time changes. Everyone else around the world adjusts to New York time no matter what. This is why what you Google online will be wrong. Often they will be referring to futures markets. This is different. Now, we've already discussed the three major trading zones, being Asia, UK, and US. Each of these trading zones has their own typical behavior, but in addition to knowing those three sessions, you also need to know a few other key dates and times. First off, you need to know the week begins 5 p.m. New York time on Sunday. You can use an online converter to convert that to your time zone if you must, but I will show you an easier way to work it out shortly. The week ends 5 p.m. Friday, New York time. So now you know the beginning and the end of the trading week for this method. Next, you need to know the beginning and the end of the day. The beginning of the week is Sunday, 5 p.m. New York. Then that also makes it the beginning of every day. So 5 p.m. New York is the beginning and also the end of every day, from Sunday to Friday for the purpose of this method. Finally, you need to know the beginning and the end of every session, and this one gets a little bit trickier. So on the screen, what you're seeing is the beginning and the end and the gap of every single session. Between every session open, there is a half-hour gap. The reason for this gap is because one market maker in one time zone is handing over to the next market maker on the next time zone. So it's like a half-hour meeting where they discuss what has been done for the day and what needs to be done for the rest of the day. Following the gap, we have the open and then we have the close. These are all in New York times. Asia's gap is between 8 to 8:30 p.m. New York. Then Asia opens at 8:30 p.m. New York and it closes at 3 a.m. New York. From there, UK has their gap between 3 to 3:30. This is where Asia and the UK market maker are talking to each other. Then at 3:30 a.m. New York, UK opens and they run their session until 9 a.m. New York. At 9 a.m. UK closes and we go into a half-hour gap until 9:30 a.m. New York, and that is when the US session will open. And then the US session closes at 5 p.m. New York. Between 5 p.m. New York to 8 p.m. New York is considered the dead zone, and that is when all the market makers are off duty and will generally find lower volume in that time. Now, each of these days and times and sessions have typical behaviors, and that's why it's so important to memorize the session times and the beginning and the ending of the week and the day. So I'm going to go through a tool that we built here at TTC to make memorizing this easier for you. So starting on a bear chart, you're going to come up to indicators and you're going to type in market session, and you should see here market session times, buy, trade, travel, chill. You can add a star next to it and that will add it to your favorites here, or you can just click on it. Once it's loaded, you'll see the default will bring up these dots up here, and it also brings up this super long line here. So first thing, go to market sessions, right click on it and get rid of this indicator argument, and then you can do it again and get rid of the values. That will bring it back down. Now from here you have two options. So if you hover over it and go to the settings on here, first thing you'll notice is that there's a whole section on moon cycles. For now, keep that turned off until we get to the moon cycles lesson in this course. Down here you have the option where you can either have the session times shaded across the whole background, so it shades the entire area, or if you don't want it to color your entire chart, you keep that ticked off, and instead it will only keep the three dot up above. Moving down here, you can choose where you want those dots to be, at the top or the bottom of your chart, up to you. You can remove the open and close labels. If you have that ticked on, it will just tell you up here when the session is opening and when it's closing, and you can also play around the colors. Now, once you simply have that on, this is now marking all of the session times automatically for you. The highest time frame that this will show is on the 1 hour time frame because that's where it's relevant to. Once we move up higher than that, it's not relevant anymore. I'm just going to go down to the 15-minute time frame. So see here now it says Asia close, UK open. That's what lets you know that the first session dots are Asia, the second session is UK, and the third session is US. And then this grey bar in between is the dead gap zone where all the market makers are off duty. These times are always set to New York regardless of where you live and what you have your own personal chart set to. So you don't have to go around manually converting what is 5 p.m. New York equal to in my time zone? What you can simply do is come down here where it has the time on the bottom right hand side. It has the time zone. If you click on that, then you can set the time zone to wherever you live. And now the times that run across here when you are scrolling your chart will be your time, but this will match up to the New York time. And that's how you can know whether it's 5 p.m. New York, but 9 a.m. for example in Melbourne. So that should hopefully solve the time zone changeover issue. Now, in addition to what I've just shown you on this indicator, we do also have in-depth tutorials on indicators, websites we use, a lot of other things like that. So be sure to head to online courses, click on our courses, and then scroll down until you see tutorials and resources. If you click on that one, then as long as you are an active member with access to the Trade by Design system, you'll be able to access these. And if you click into here where it says Market Session Times Indicator Tutorial, that will have a full video explaining the indicator. And if you click on the Materials tab, you can also then download the instruction manual. Be sure to do that to learn all the features of this indicator. Now, whilst we're here, a lot of people keep asking for the TTC branding colors as it's quite easy on the eye. So I'm going to just quickly show you where you can change that and what the numbers are. First of all, we're going to go up the top right hand side to where it says chart settings. Click on that. And then we're going to go down to appearance, change the background to solid, then click on this little black box thing here. You won't have these colors down here. You'll have no colors. So just look for a plus sign and click on that. And then in here where these numbers are, you're just going to erase the numbers. And for the background color, you're going to type in 012432 and click add. Now that will show up here and you can just select that. And then as you can see here, that's changed the background color to the color that most of us use on our charts. You can do other things. You can move your vertical lines and whatnot. I won't go through all that. I just really wanted to basically show you the color, but you can remove all that stuff as well. Now, when you're drawing trend lines, the color for the trend lines is different as well. Draw a line, then go to the settings of that line, onto the colors here, click the plus sign, and the color for the lines is 45818E. You can add that, and then again, that will now add it as a square down there. You select it, press OK, and you now have the same color trend line. Moving on from that, let's now talk about the levels.